Lord, give me the words so I can say what I need to say and be done and not do too much. Okay, so basically, in the dream, there was this girl, and she was basically in like this army barracks, and there was another girl that said to her, "Oh, so you're the one that people are talking about, or he's talking about, or he's looking for, or something like that." And the girl was kind of like, what? Like, kind of didn't have any clue of what the other girl was talking about. And basically, that night, she went to sleep, and my viewpoint went from like a third party to being the first party, being her, basically. And she was laying on the ground, I was laying on the ground, and she was sleeping, and she was just still kind of conscious of things that were going on, but she was asleep. And basically, another figure came. It was like a father figure to her. And it was like this person had given her guidance along the way to be like who she was at that time. And that person was there with her going through what she was going through, which was basically just laying there on the ground, sleeping. But weird things started to happen. Like, it was like this war broke out all around her all of a sudden. And she was still laying there sleeping along with the father figure. And the father figure kind of was giving her the guidance to like stay asleep, don't move, don't react, don't do anything. So she kept quiet, kept quiet, did not move, and kept laying there, as if, even though every like hell was breaking loose all around her, it was as if she was trying to keep her peace in order not to be noticed by the enemy. People were getting killed, bombs were going off, hell was breaking loose, and it was like she was being tempted to panic and to run in the midst of it all, but she kept still. Then the next thing, it was like I felt like this blade on my head, like a sword on my head, like tracing circles all around my head. Just very weirdly, like I knew it was like a knife or like a sword or some sharp object, like it was trying to tempt me to move. And I just remained still, and I did not move. And then the next thing, the father figure was like grabbed and killed. And I still sat still, did not move, remained at peace, and kept quiet. And even though bombs were going off, people were dying, I still was like pretending to be asleep, even though I knew all hell was breaking loose. Like there's a storm going on, there was a war going on, and nothing, even the blade, the sword on my head that kept moving and kept circling, it did not scare me to move or to leave my post, to say. Then after a while, it was like someone, like my lover, came behind me, kind of spooned me while I was sleeping. And I could feel his presence, like spooning me, like behind me. And I was at this point not focused on the war that was going on around me, but my lover who had my back and was pushed up against me and keeping me still. And I was more focused on kind of like backing it up, even though there was like this war going on and there was a sword like tempting me, like trying to scare me to move. And after a while, I was more focused on the pleasure of my lover being there for me. And then the sword that was on my head and that was moving, it started to feel like um, massage therapy. It started to feel like instead of a sword, it felt like one of those massaging things that like is like massages your head. And she did not move. She just stayed focused, and a bit of the war around her kind of disappeared, and it was more of like being in this place of pleasure with your lover and focusing on what was good as opposed to what was bad. Um, and in the time that it was me and someone else's body, because I think that they were trying to say to me that it wasn't a war of race, so to speak, because the girl was Caucasian, and she was in the midst of other Caucasians that were trying to attack her. So she kept her peace. She started focusing on her lover, and she changed the good thoughts into, I mean, the bad thoughts into good thoughts, and she wasn't focused on the blade on her head. It became like a more of a place of pleasure, and the war kept going on, and she kept her focus on her lover, and eventually the war ended, and her lover kind of like army crawled out of the space. Basically, her lover went looking for her in the midst of a war to find her, and he was there for her during a time where it should have been hectic and crazy. And they crawled out of the war, and then it was like they were not behind enemy lines anymore. They were in their own camp, and off in the distance I could see like these purple trees. Purple, it was purple, and he was there standing behind her holding her like this. And um the sun was out, and it was like he went looking for her, and it was like she had no idea like who he was, that he even cared or loved her enough to go looking for her during that time, but he did. And um then I just, after that I just woke up. But it's so crazy, like before the dream started, like I was having trouble falling asleep, and I had posted about something that I was going through, about how people misunderstand you, and they kind of want to throw you in a pit because of their misunderstanding of you. They don't understand what you're going through or how you're going through it. Sometimes your words don't make sense to them. Just like Joseph, when he was telling his brothers about the dreams he had, they thought it was strange, and they were jealous of him, so they threw him in a pit. After that, after I posted that, my phone just went dead, and I was just like, okay, maybe God wants me to go to sleep, because I don't really need to be up, really thinking about things that are not good for my mindset. And with that, I put my phone down, and I went to bed, and I immediately fell asleep. And that's the dream I had. And then I woke up out of it like 2 hours later, and I thought it was like the most amazing dream. Like, um, it just goes to show you that even during your darkest hour, during your worst times, when you feel like no one is there for you, or you feel like you can't overcome, or you feel like, tragedy is there, it's like God will send a lover, an angel, a protector to help you keep your peace even in the worst times. And I thought it was so profound. And I went back to sleep because it was like 3 o'clock in the morning when I woke up from that dream. But I just thought it was so amazing. And I just wanted to share that with you guys.